Whoa, Get Valiant number 133. I am back, my triumphant return to the stage of YouTube.
Welcome back, man. Sad to not have you on the show.
Yeah, it was weird, you know. I think that's only like the second episode. Oh my God, stupid phone. I think that's only the second episode in the 133 that Get Valiant's done that I wasn't on, so it's kind of weird. But what the fuck? My
This
phone
is an
lost a
adult
point of
show,
feedback.
everybody, so put your kids to bed because we cuss in this.
Oh, yeah, I do that. That's the thing I do. No, but what I was going to say is it makes it cool that we have, switched to having three people because even if somebody's not able to make it one night, this show can still happen. When it was just Josh and I, we didn't have that option. Like today, Josh is actually the one that is under the weather. So we're able to go ahead and do the episode without him, even though obviously we prefer he was here, but we're able to, plug away anyway. But yeah, so thank you for coming aboard,
Oh, you're
Hoosier,
welcome.
because
Dude, and I'm lucky I made
uh,
it today because I hit the Concrud.
yeah,
I was at Rose City this last weekend, and yeah, Sunday I hit it rock bottom, man. It didn't feel good at all. So I'm glad I'm upright right now.
yeah, that always sucks. That always sucks. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I know that you guys talked about um, the the news that Harbinger is going to Paramount when
Yes,
I wasn't
yes,
here.
we did touch base on that for sure.
So today, an article dropped that I wanted to kind of touch on, and it had an interview with both Dan Mintz and Fred Pierce. And it seemed like the article and both of those people were pointing out the fact that even Marvel had some of its early movies made at Paramount, but that didn't stop the whole universe from being cohesive. Just because, like Captain America or Iron Man were made at Paramount doesn't mean that they aren't part of the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. So hopefully, the fact that that whole article spent a bunch of time talking about that one thing, I'm hoping that is a really strong indication that even though Harbinger may be getting made by Paramount, you know, that it would still connect with Bloodshot. That's the ideal is that we have, a big Valiant universe. We don't want a Spider-Man situation where, Bloodshot's in a movie and then he's can't be in anybody else's movies, or the Harbinger kids are sequestered off on their own and they can't be in anybody else's movies. But yeah, hopefully we get something cohesive. But even if we don't, we still have a cohesive comic universe that's awesome, and the movies can still be good even if they're not all completely connected. So that's kind of my piece on that whole thing.
And that's kind of where it is. We need to have a good movie to create interest, right? I mean, that's kind of what it's been for. That's really been the formula for the movies in general, right? To get fans on board with it, to like it, to get exposure, and then you could worry about integrating it there further. One of the interesting things I looked up, I don't know if it was Hollywood Insider or Movie Insider. I was looking up Sony films because I was trying to figure out what trailers might match up with this Bloodshot movie. And one thing I did notice under Sony's pictures that they had on this, they still had Faith tied to Sony. So that would really be the heartbreaker if somehow they got Harbinger but they didn't get Faith because of it, which would be kind of weird to not have that
See,
connection.
and that's what's actually heartening to me is that I know that Paramount is supposed to still be using the Eric Heiserer script, and Dinesh has said that one of the things he loves about Eric Heiserer's Harbinger script is this big moment with Faith that's integral to the
Yeah.
movie. So if Sony's still going to be working on a Faith movie and Paramount is going to be doing a Harbinger movie with Faith in it, I think that's a really good indication that it's probably still going to be able to be connected,
Yeah.
you know?
I
So
mean, and that's the hope.
I don't,
And I know they talked a lot prior when they said the Paramount was taking it over that somebody's rewriting, her Heiser script. So I hope it's not to pull out too much, but that might get to remove some continuity pieces. I don't know. That might have been why there was the reshoots that recently happened for Bloodshot. But again, like just like what you did, fingers crossed, hope for the best, and really just hoping for a good movie in February because that's really none of the other crap really matters if February doesn't turn out.
Honestly, if we got a series of Bloodshot movies that referenced the wider Valiant universe but didn't involve it, I'd be fucking happy as
Mm-hmm.
fuck. I'd be
Right.
stoked, right? Like if we got a series of Harbinger movies that maybe referenced the wider Valiant universe but didn't really include it,
Right.
awesome. I would rather see those characters get movies and not be interconnected than not get movies at all. Obviously, in an ideal world, everything would be perfect. All the movies would be exactly what we want to see from the characters, and they'd all be connected, and we get these huge, Infinity War Endgame style Valiant crossover movies and whatever. Yeah, that'd be great. But like you've been saying, we got to get to February, and we got in Bloodshot's got to do well first, and then as long as that happens, we can move on from there
Yeah.
and get and actually start moving toward uh, multiple movies and franchises and whatever.
Yeah, and I would really like to see them actually mine out each character's own like little universe itself too, much like how Bat Family is, right? It's had forever to go, but it could be on its own. The Bat universe. You don't need a Trinity.
That's a
You don't
great.
need a Superman. You don't need the Flash to make Batman. It's there, right? And so I think that's comic wise they need to do that because I mean right now what we're going to talk about later, Killers, how they're mining out Ninjak's mythos is one on its own to where there's so much rich stories to be told and you don't have to pull yourself too far and just try to please everybody by having a character for everybody in one little thing that maybe this movie could be for many people but not for everybody. So it's kind of versed and kind of moving forward and say on the same subject, we talked about last week how Dinesh put out that Bloodshot number 37 tweet and how everybody started buying it up and he's like, "That's not what I meant, guys." And then I think we're on Bloodshot number 30 today. So in 30 days, we're getting that Bloodshot trailer.
So that's what the 18th of October,
18th of October. Yep.
and that's the day that Zombieland 2, a movie from Sony, hits theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So fingers crossed once again that that's when we're going to be getting the trailer,
Right.
and in an ideal world, the trailer would drop online. Um, yeah, the same day. So I would like to see the trailer on the big screen, so I may just try to go see Zombieland just for that fact. But I hope that I can see the trailer without having to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm hoping we get a Red Band trailer, right? That's
Yeah,
yeah, definitely hope that we get a Red Band trailer at the very least on YouTube, and then yeah, we get some things lined up, right? I was looking up Sony, and then I was looking up Terminator. That is a rated R movie. Definitely can be perfect for fans to cross pollinate to create more
yeah,
fans to be exposure for this. And that's actually Tim Miller, who's Dave Wilson's partner at Blur Studios. So who's directing that? So kind of little connection there. And then a couple months, I think a month before Bloodshot, we also got Bad Boys, which is another I think a pretty good combo that should be able to pull in some new fans as well. And that's through Sony as well. So I think that's likely to happen. October 18th. Moose over at Valiant Fans, he's actually like, "Hey, are we gonna go watch Zombieland?" I was like, "At least the trailers." So we're gonna go see that opening day, so that way we can see that trailer on a big screen right away. Doing it.
yeah, yep. I may have to do that. Oh, yeah. Hopefully we get it. And I didn't even think about a Red Band trailer, so I'm happy you mentioned that. 'Cause now that's another thing for me to really hope for and be disappointed if we don't get
Yeah, just waiting
it.
for those stills. I think you and I were talking off air. Just like we just want to see Vin Diesel, not just like how we're seeing in images like this, but that we see him in as the CG, however they're gonna do his makeup, and show him as Bloodshot. So
Yeah, I mean, the picture he posted on Instagram was himself in camo and aviators, and he was like, "Oh, I'm Ray Garrison. This is Bloodshot, whatever." And it's like, cool, but it's still just Vin Diesel with sunglasses on. Like, I have seen Vin Diesel with sunglasses on several occasions before, so I'm hoping for a little bit more than
it's still
that.
got 2
But
million
we may
likes.
just have to. if we only see it when we get the trailer, then that'll just make the trailer that much sweeter, honestly, because it'll be fresh.
Right.
But
Totally agree.
anyway,
And
there was another piece. This is,
there was, and I want to, we got a lot of people in the chat, so I want to thank everybody for jumping on in the chat. So we'll be keep going live with the chat. Scott Bloom with us talking October 18th is Grandma's birthday. We'll be celebrating your grandfather's birthday with you through Bloodshot. So hopefully she loves it too.
um, and yeah, I don't know about like the whole body paint or CGI thing. I mean, as long as it looks good, I don't care how they made it work.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with Scott. The Jason David Frank was a little bit much with that body paint. When you saw it, it was, but hopefully they do it to where it feels like it's more, more skin tone, where it looks like it is more coming from underneath, where it does look like it's the blood has removed from the skin to make it more of like a pale piece, like a dead person, because that's kind of the science behind it. So, however they do it, but like you said, there was some more news. And that was this.
Well, here's the one thing I want to say. So, well, I got a few things, I guess. First off, this was announced like forever ago, right? Like, we've known that this was coming for a really long time. So, like, I'm stoked that we got the announcement, and those covers are badass looking. This character looks really fucking cool.
100%.
So, yeah, so that's awesome. And that cover, I think it's the pre-order cover, right, is the coolest one. Like the A and the
this
pre-order
one right there
are the.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that one is so badass. And then, yeah, all of them, really all of them. Anyway,
and MJ Kim's work that they showed too. I don't have that up here, but her work looks phenomenal in this book so far. Those first 5 pages they've sent, they are great.
Yeah, this is going to look amazing. So something I didn't think of, and Sean said this in the live comments or the live chat, that hopefully it's alternate universe Woody. That would be perfect, because we got that alternate universe Woody. He came into our world, and then we've never heard from him again. That would be amazing. Yeah, because that guy's got shit planned, and he's like. Hopefully they bring that guy back. So I'm really happy that Sean mentioned that, because, yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. Like, even if that doesn't turn out to be what it is, I'm just happy that I got to have that image in my head.
that would be great. I know the original Visitor had a little bit of a surprise, and I don't want to spoil what that was. I know that Paul Lentz here itself is a all-star, like, you know what I mean? He is a very big name within comics, former head of DC for a while, and his relationship with Fred Pierce got him over here is what it said. And it's supposed to be that this character is totally different, redesigned, new character pieces, and so that's the interesting piece. But yeah, there was a quite a bit of a surprise when they revealed who the Visitor was in the original. So I maybe it's the same. I wouldn't be disappointed if it turns out to be the same kind of surprise. But yeah, in either way, interested. It's a mystery.
Yeah, sci-fi mystery. That sounds cool to me. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely in for a sci-fi mystery, especially when it's going to look this badass. Right. So definitely count me in.
And it gets back to that subject, though, of the mini guys on the shelf, and we're getting another new character. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's that same question that we've been saying again and again. But I'm okay with a good character as long as it's enjoyable, it's a good writing, it's a good book, right? But you just miss those guys.
We also have to remember, I mean, we've got a Bloodshot book starting, like next week? We got a Bloodshot ongoing starting. We've got an Exo starting
in March.
Probably March, it sounds like now. So that's going to be a new ongoing coming. We've obviously got a Rye ongoing coming next month, or in November. We've got all of these core characters that we know are going to be on the shelf. So it's not like we're not getting any core characters, and with only 7 books a month, there's no way to get all the core characters and new characters on the stands at the same time. So I think that, it's got to kind of be a pick and choose thing. Hopefully, we get to a point where we see more team books. Honestly, I think that that would be like a. I've been saying this forever, and I'll probably keep saying it forever. A Unity book would be perfect, and I think the best way to do a Unity book would be to have a rotating team, have it be centered around Capshaw, and then have a rotating team of different characters coming in and out, so you can get, you know,
Right.
everybody. You can get Quantum and Woody, you can get Archer and Armstrong, you can get Shadow Man, and these characters don't have to have their own solo book on the shelf to be popping up every few arcs in an ongoing Unity book.
Right.
So I don't know. That's kind of my dream, is that we get something like that, so that we do, you know, have those characters on the shelf, even if they're not in their own solo book.
Right. Or even just one shots thrown out. You know what I mean? Like a designated anthology, but yet one shot type of thing. Just something to keep them alive, keep their story going, keep people exposed to them, and maybe have some people jump on them, and maybe you sell some back issues because you're introducing somebody brand new to it. I did get a chance to talk to Robert Myers when I was at Rose City, and he did. There's an image I posted on Valiant Fans on Twitter, and I believe at Get Valiant on our Facebook, and it shows an image that's not the Visitor; it's something else, and it looked amazing. In that picture, though, they showed, like, you could see Faith, you could see Shadow Man, you could see Savage. So there's quite a bit in that picture that they showed. So hopefully we get some more with that in the near future. But one thing that Robert said,
I was
what's
definitely
that?
intrigued by that picture.
That picture looked awesome.
Yeah, I was definitely intriguing because we don't know exactly what it is. They've been giving us a lot of stuff that we weren't sure what it would be. Um, we got an image a long time ago. We had no idea what it was. Turned out to be the Rise series. We got an image that we didn't know what it was. Turned out to be Dr. Barrage. So they've been giving us a lot of hints, and it's cool to kind of guess. So we'll see what this next thing is. It had, like you said, a lot of the Valiant characters. So that makes me. It makes me think of another new character. Honestly, it makes me think that another new character coming in to meet the Valiant universe. Um, and if it's not Visitor, then that means that it's just yet another new character coming to enrich the Valiant universe. And I mean, you can look at it as that's taking a spot away from an established character,
Right.
but maybe this will be somebody.
Somebody like.
All of our new character. Visitor could be all of our new favorite thing, and we'll consider that a core character and want that character on the shelf every month. I don't know.
Right. And you might
But
never know. Like I say, there could be surprises around the corner with each book. And I could neither confirm nor deny what you said on any of that. Because Robert's a cool guy. And with that being said, he did talk about actually trying to build up to get it to where they may be able to expand more. And it sounded like extending the universe, making it a little bit bigger as far as books, the amount of books coming out. And I started thinking about it. If I am a comic shop owner, I'm not like I would probably be more. I would want to promote a book that could sell more books for me, right? Not one that's just doing 6, but if you're doing 15, 10, you know what I mean? You might be able to sell more books for that. So I could see as a comic shop owner that they may want you to produce more books in that universe. So hopefully you could sell more books. It kind of, I think there's a give and take when there's only so many. I can only sell 6 of your books, but if you were producing 10, at least, you know what I mean? That jumps it up, quite a bit when you think about sales wise. Hopefully.
yeah, I don't know. I think that's I don't know. I don't know.
But
That's going to be an eternal thing. I think when we get 9 books a month, we're going to want 12, and when we get 13 books a month, we're going to want
it's kind
20.
of the way it is.
So
And one of
yeah,
the really good news that I got that I wanted to share, and I hope I'm allowed to, but oh well, I'm gonna do it anyway. Is that I heard them say that Juan Jose Reap is working on issue number 6 now. So they're
oh,
that far ahead with Rye. And then I straight, like, he's on the whole run of Rye. It's him. So there's not going to be an artist change for the Rye book, which I think that's, to me, is great because I love his work. So that really got me excited for that book to come out. And yeah.
well, having read that Ashcan, his art looks like it's going to be amazing in this Rye book.
Hmm.
So, um, Yeah, one of the things I loved about the original Rye was that even though we took months off in between arcs, that allowed them to keep the same creative team the entire time. And I really, really enjoyed that. It kept that book super cohesive. Um, I think that's one of the things like we're seeing with Livewire right now. The first two arcs had fairly similar art, obviously not the same, but similar enough that it all kept the same feel. And now we're in an arc with Livewire where the art is completely different. I know some people really don't like it. I don't think it's like bad, but whatever. The fact is that it's different. So
Right.
it's nice to know that we're going to get more than one arc on Rye consecutively with the same artist. Yeah, that's definitely cool, and it makes sense that they would work that far ahead because probably it's going to catch up on them pretty quick. I mean, the book's starting in a couple of months, but I imagine with the amount of detail that issue one has, it's got to take him a really, really long time to actually draw those pages and
Right.
get a full issue done.
And that's kind of been the knock on him is when there's books that seem like they're rushed, his artwork definitely takes a hit with it. So knowing that they're this far ahead, people that like his work should be happy knowing that he's that far ahead, which is great. And then that got me into asking about the EXO question. And they said they were that far ahead with Rye already. Fallen World was so successful, a quick turnaround made sense. And then launching EXO shortly after Bloodshot is released, the movie, and March is when the big cons start happening again. Emerald City to build up Emerald City, and maybe they'll be talking about it next month at New York City Comic Con, kind of getting a launch again like they did back when Matt Kent had it. They had a big launch built up for it. So I think there was some wise, sound decision making to move that back. And they say they needed a little bit more to make sure they got it right, and I'm for that to make the story right. If you have something that's ready and something that's not quite as ready, switch it, flop it around. So that worked for me. And then I see Sean in the chat giving me a hard time about trying to spoil a 25-year-old story.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it, but whatever.
Do you want to know what it was?
Oh, I know what it
was.
Oh,
do you? Okay.
Okay. We all know.
As long
as
everybody knows.
If anybody doesn't know the secret of the Visitor from the original Valiant, yeah, I think we all know. Anyway, can we talk about the books? I want to talk about this week's books.
Let's talk about this week's books, man. There's some, yeah.
Okay, we are going to spoil the shit out of these books. This is going to happen right now. So if anybody has not read this, I'm sorry, you fucked up. I don't know what to tell you. Make better decisions next.
Yeah. Or use that pause button and then come back.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. But, so, what are we talking about first? Oh, you flipped it all around on me, you mother. Okay.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
No, let's do it.
Let's do it. PSI Lords, number 4.
PSI Lords. I did get my copy, obviously, a cover. Dude. This book is so good. Like, this is so good. Like, honestly, I think that this is the most I've ever liked Renato Gatiss' art. I still think that there's like this weird feel to it, but yeah, it worked really, really well in this issue. The story was so good. This book has so many twists and turns, and then on top of it all, like, not only is this like an action-packed, intense, really like twisty book, it's also absolutely hilarious. Like, I laughed out loud so many times reading this issue.
I think we have different feelings about it, man. But I'm glad really? You enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, let me know. Tell me what's going on.
I thought some of the jokes were, I don't know. Yeah. Some of the jokes just seemed like they were just lowbrow. They were, you know what I mean, just quick kind of, I don't know. There was a lot of this book. I did like Guetta's art. I do think that it hit pretty well with me. I like the art. The frustrating thing is this is now the kind of what we thought to be the second dead person has came back to life just in through 4 issues. And so that kind of threw me off. It's like, what are the actual consequences in this book? Like, we thought Sion was dead. They explained it away with saying he's a twin. And then we thought Beacon was dead, and then she's back alive, right? And it's just been... it's been interesting just to have these consequences that same there, and then how they're, just an issue later, it's not what we thought it was. And that might be the writing, that might be what it's doing. This is a mystery book. It's just now with the end of this, how they knocked out Scion at the end. It's like, okay, are we going to hear another? The third one's back. I don't know.
I don't know, man. That's weird. The thing that is bugging you is one of the things that is making me love this book. I love that things are happening and we don't really know. And the jokes in this book were fucking hilarious. Like, I laughed so hard, honestly, when it got to the part in the, I don't know if it was like near the beginning or the middle, when they're like, oh, what's going on? What did we find out? Oh, the Psy Lords were at us the whole time. The Psy Lords are friendship, whatever. Like, they're making jokes. And then later it comes back and they're like, oh, it turns out the Psy Lords were in us the whole time. Like, in such an intense book with so much like crazy, um I don't know. I don't even know the words to use for it. There's so much like back and forth twistiness, and it is, I think it's a really intense book. It's serious, it's heavy. That might be the best word
And
for
I
it.
guess that's probably why I
And
don't
but
like it, is the timing of it, right? It just doesn't feel like it would flow.
See, I like that, like being able to marry those two
Right.
feels, giving us a really heavy, intense book, but still having that really, sharp humor. That's why we like, that's why it's so many people like a lot of the Marvel movies, is that they can be really intense, but then they can switch, like all the Iron Man stuff. Like he's constantly cracking jokes in the most intense scenes, and that's part of what endears you to the character. And I'm getting the exact same feeling from this
Right.
book. So I think that this is written so well. I absolutely love the art on it. Honestly, man, like as far as I know, this is the end of the first arc, and I cannot wait to see the next one because I've just loved this book more and more with every issue. To me, this is a 4.75 out of 5. This is damn near perfect.
Yeah. You're pretty high on that. I mean, I do think it was weird that they didn't even know their names, and next thing you know, he remembers Twitter, and the name of Twitter. I thought that was kind of like, okay, that doesn't fall. Yeah,
What?
there was a little bit
Oh,
of it that, yeah, and then we're searching for so much, and then
see,
all of a sudden we're like
that's
almost all
how
knowing.
I want to point that thing that I want to stop you on that one
Yeah.
thing though. I just want to say that is how memory works. Like in the real world, our actual brains, that is how memory works. Like if you had like personal memory amnesia, that wouldn't stop you from knowing language, math, or remembering things like geography or products or services like Twitter or Facebook.
Right.
So you could like memory works that way. So I want to say that like that does actually follow and make
Yeah.
sense. Like that is logical.
And the one thing I just don't like the universe piece of it here. You have this this thing that's going to wipe out Earth, and you're going to send these four basically, I don't want to say nobodies, but they're definitely not Unity. They're not Exo Manowar. They're not, Divinity. They're not one of these crews that you would definitely do. It's just kind of an interesting, where are they at this time with this thing that's going to wipe out Earth, and yet you're sending these four people they work for these space stations and whatnot in all these major countries, and it just, that didn't really make sense to me. Yeah.
I'm going to give you that one. That did jump out to me as well. I love, love, love that they brought Capshaw into this book. Love it. But I will agree that when she's explaining to them what's going on, the first thing that popped into my mind was like, why don't you just go ask Divinity?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
at least try.
And I didn't like her line, and then we're gonna kill them all, or whatever she says. Like, that just didn't fit like the character. That didn't, I don't know, that I didn't, that line just didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
that didn't bug
Yeah.
me. But I get what you're saying.
But yeah. And the thing is I love Fred's work. I love Fred's work, and I'm thinking I mean, he's clearly got a bigger picture written, and that's kind of where my thoughts are with that. Is that we're gonna get more out of it. Going back to Scion wearing the Psy Lord suit, from, is that really the Psy Lord suit because it's a reboot of it? Where, yeah, there's just a lot to it. And then now we're with, what do they call them? The Widowers. And what's going to happen with that next arc. So, and I don't know if we're keeping the same art team on, or the art team, Renato Guedes, as the art throughout the whole book. But I like it, but I also would like to see somebody else try to give it a shot too. Oh, I'm
So,
at 3.25 for me.
what?
So,
What? How? Oh, that's crazy to me. Scott said, it'd be too easy for Divinity. There wouldn't really be a story if they got Divinity to do it. And I agree with that, but you need a good. It, I wish that we got some kind of explanation, and maybe that's asking for too much, but I do wish like there was some explanation of why they had to use these astronauts, not Exo
well, to me, what
Manowar,
would be
not.
funny and make that work would be like, you guys are amazing. We wanted you. Oh yeah, and you get their arrogant selves that they are, and be like, well, Arik of Dacia said no, and Divinity, he's out, playing in flowers, and you know what I mean. And you just go through all
Want him
these
to
reasons to where this is why we're getting you. You know what I mean? And that would hit home with funny for me. It's like you're not really our first choice. I mean, because this, and this. There you go. Come on, you're our only hope because nobody else wants to do it.
So now I'm going to completely agree with Scott here. Something that has been extremely consistent in this book is that there have been huge questions that seemed completely unanswerable, and then we got a crazy awesome answer, and it made the book
Mm-hmm.
even better. Like Sean said, he's enjoying the book more as more gets revealed, and I definitely agree with that. And I think that Scott has a good point that these questions that we have about why did they use these kids, because now we just learned that yes, they're using these kids, but we have no idea why. And Scott's saying the answers are going to come, and I agree because again, that's the consistent thing that this book has done is raised massive questions and then answer them in
I'll
unexpected
agree with
ways.
that.
So yeah, we can't see what the answer is right now, but
Yeah, I
we'll get
agree
it.
with that statement for sure.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan on this. He just said he likes Scion's backstory. I totally did
Mm-hmm.
too. Something that I find really interesting in the real world is cults and stuff like that. So I thought it was really cool to have that idea of these. Scion has been presenting himself as this great guy who's going to help educate these new gods, basically. But it turns out that he's just a narcissist, and all he wanted was power for himself so that he could make everybody worship him again. And yeah, I thought that that was a really cool angle to take with him, and just another reason why I like this
Right.
book.
Yeah, and I do like Ryan coming in there too, talking about how a guy from China, where there is a firewall made, would make that Twitter joke. So that yeah. So yeah, there's little things that we can be nitpicky. I'm guilty as can be, but I think enjoyable, and I do believe it's going to be one of those written out in the long run. In reading it as a whole, I've said that a number of times with books that sometimes you can't judge one by an issue or even sometimes by an arc, when there is a overarching arc to the story, and when you get it all together, it's like, oh, now that makes sense what happened there. And basically, thank you for not spoon
Yeah,
feeding me for this story. You kind of be thanked for it later.
I think that I think there's every reason to believe that this story is going to just get more and more enjoyable as it
Mm-hmm.
goes on. And speaking of stories getting more and more enjoyable as they go on, I would like to talk about this guy,
Dude,
Killers number
I love
3.
it. Do you see what is in his hand? Look at what's in his hand.
Oh,
Bowler's
Bowler's
beer,
beer.
little Carl Bowler's beer. Giving a shout out to the editor. So
I didn't even.
I dug that. I saw
Oh,
that
I
one
didn't.
day and I was just like, yes, Bowler's beer. And I'm not even sure Carl is still with Valiant right now. His name's not in the back of the books anymore under the credits. But Carl, I believe, had something to do with getting this together. And there's a shout out right there with John Boy's cover with Bowler's beer.
So, um, And this book, we finally meet, is it Ninja E?
Yes, the beanie wearing ski mask dude. Yeah,
Oh, bending bullets
yeah.
and shit.
And like I think what he
Oh,
wants to be called Psych, right? Like or Psyche. Um, so I like that we're actually getting some
uh,
names with these characters.
Sights. You want to be called
Sykes. Yeah.
Sights.
So
Um, yeah, this because I remember Sean bringing that up on the last issue with Snapdragon, her having an identity other than just being, whatever Snapdragon is, Ninja Eye or I can't remember. Um, but yeah, getting another ninja from the ninja program who doesn't really want to continue being just that ninja guy. Um, he's got a new identity and he owns his identity. That's awesome. The fight, oh my god, the fight with
oh
Snapdragon, I I have come to now hate Ninja J. I think he's a total dick. He is willing to kill an entire plane full of people because he wants to win a competition. Like, dude, that guy
yeah,
sucks.
not for it.
Yeah, he's a dick. Uh, but again, yeah, like this the writing in this is so good. Like I really feel like I know these characters super well and like I'm like I said I'm hating Ninja J and that's awesome because like that means I'm having a good, a real connection and emotional reaction to this story. That to me is a sign of really good writing. I love G. I don't remember if we were told before that her name is Mona, but if we were, I
Right.
forgot. But it was cool to get that touch in this issue. Um, and the whole relationship between her and what's his name,
Right.
F, I think. Um, he's a psycho. Like everything in this book was super fucking awesome, and I don't even know what else to say
Dude,
about it.
and this is one of those ones where why I like a universe book comic publisher, right? Because it comes back to Kent, issue number 1. I've talked about it, how it shows Ninja A, Ninja B, whatever, right there back in the day in Ninja K1. And I like how this is just building off of what Ninja K originally was with Christos Gage and what basically. I like that that's continuing to go. That's what I love is this progression of story within a clear pattern of making the world bigger and getting us some new characters in the way. Valiant's got, we just met a Ninja E. We got another new IP with Valiant now. And this how it continues to grow. This to me is one of a story that could be a great series, a great movie series, a TV series. Put it on HBO, rock and roll. I dug it. I do like that we're getting more and continuing to grow the mythos of like I believe it's called the key, the KI, and how the logo makes sense with the KI being highlighted down below,
Yeah,
and how there's these different necessarily kind of secret superpowers that each character kind of has. And then we're getting with Ninja G how she didn't really hers has been off. It's turned off. It's not working. And then just that peripheral invisibility is super cool in how they're kind of figuring out how she can't get to it because her loved one's passed away and how she has basically put herself in a cage to kind of get her key, her what I would say is going to be much probably like a chi, but mixed with ninja, and I enjoy it. And where are we going to go with Jonan's daughter? Like, what's up her sleeve, man? Who is she? I mean, you got to think, she's the Jonan's daughter. She's probably trained as well. She's probably got a pretty damn cool power, too. And we got 2 more issues to figure that out. And I'm excited for it, dude. Like, this book has got me pumped up, right? I'm liking the art. The art is very well fitting in this book. And, yeah. This one, well, maybe until next week, this is my favorite book with Valiant right now. That's been really, like currently.
yeah, man. I would have a really hard time deciding between this one and Psylords. I think that Psylords I didn't like as much right away, and this one I've basically liked a lot from the jump. Like we're at issue 3, and I'm way more sold and way more enjoying. Like I'm more deeply involved in Killers by issue 3 than I was in Psylords by issue 3, and that might just be a function of the type of story Psylords is. I think that makes sense, but this book started out good it started out great, and it's only gotten better. Um, Fernando Dagnino is doing the art in this, and like you said, it's perfect. There's so much action in it. Um, One thing that Ryan pointed out that I totally agree with, the fact that they have other names means that they could really easily be spun out into other
Absolutely.
series. I would read a Snapdragon book. I would read a Sights book.
Ninja F, whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
I would.
I want more of him. And I bet you he's Woody's stepbrother, that or his other, like his biological brother he didn't know about. Just integrate
I think he's too old
it.
for that. These people are all way
Right,
too
and
old.
then I also see Sean
Um,
asking what Ninjak's power, his key power is, and I remember that there was some of them that weren't chained by the Jonin, and I'm not sure Ninjak was chained by the Jonin. I don't know if they're.
yes, Ninja
Yeah,
was
that's
not,
why he doesn't have the
but I don't
the
think
chi power.
so. I think that he's the only one that wasn't right. Like everybody else. Well,
Like
maybe there were
Ninja
some in the
A
middle
and
that weren't.
whatnot,
I
but
don't.
yeah, I think most of them were, but Ninjak was not trained by him. So
Yeah, because it seems like even Jay, was trained by the Jonin, whatever. So yeah, I think K Ninjak was like basically the one that wasn't because he ended up getting all of his knowledge from the Bleeding
yeah,
Monk, right? Yeah. So, but he has his own set of powers that he pretends that he doesn't have too, right? Like he can maybe not to an extreme, but he's got, better healing than a normal human and whatever. But anyway, on this book, like I don't I don't know. I don't know what to score it because oh my God. Honestly, I'm going for it. This is a 5. Like this is exactly what I want to read. Like to me this week, I know you didn't enjoy Lords as much as I did, but to me this week is showing me that I can love I can love Valiant just as much with these new books that are coming out, new characters being explored, new corners of the universe being expanded. I can love that just as much as I enjoyed when we were getting things like, Book of Death and Unity and the Valiant and things like that, that were what we would consider, the core characters coming together. I'm also loving these just as much with these newer characters and peripheral characters, so to speak. So I'm digging the direction that Valiant is taking their universe, and I hope that everything stays this good. And I know that Bloodshot issue number 1 is really really badass. So for me, like this is a great fucking time to be a
that's
Valiant
awesome,
fan.
dude. I'm not gonna quite go as high with you, even though I really enjoyed it and I thought it was great. And I'm trying to be weary about giving out 5 so frequently because that's like you look at some of the perfect books that have came along the way, and you know what I mean. It was a very good. So I'm 4.75, and that's just saving that 5 for like perfect. I hope B. Claymore keeps giving us more in some form or fashion with Valiant. I really feel like he gives each one of these different Ninja A, Ninja B, all the characters, they got a unique voice, and you're getting you kind of you hear it with each one of them that it is a little different. Each person is different. They're unique, and he's doing a good job of creating character and creating just attitude with each one of them, personality. And that's one thing I really love about it. And I like how this story keeps progressing. We only got 2 more books of this, and yet so much story. And you think about what he's done in, I mean, Christos Gage, Matt Kent initially, but Christos Gage set a great platform to get this going. But you think about how many new characters he's introduced in 3 books is freaking amazing. So yeah, I mean, I probably for that alone should give it a 5, but trying to hold it back, and go from there. But
I think that's a good point,
yeah,
though. I think that's one of the things that I think we talked about with issue 2 on this book was that we've got characters who by the time they were on 3 pages you already felt like you knew
right.
them. Like I felt like we got to know Ninja F really fast. And he's a crazy fucking dude. Like that's a really hard guy to get to know, but we really got to understand him
Right.
really quickly. And I think that we can say that about a lot of these characters. Like obviously Ninja E is a little bit shrouded in mystery, but he wasn't in this entire issue. He was on a few pages, maybe five or something, but probably not even that many, honestly. But he's a really awesome character, and I cannot wait to see more of him. Like I said, this book honestly just gets better and better. The reason that I go with a five, like to me, that I know what you're saying as far as like not wanting to quite go to five unless it's justified. And to me, the thing that justifies it is having that there's an experience level thing. Like I can judge, intellectually the writing and the art and all these other things. And if those things are really, really good, and I have that, vivid, engrossing experience with the
Right.
story, that to me is what makes something a five. And I really have that with this book. It's really grabbing me. I cannot wait for the next issue. The only thing that sucks is that this isn't an ongoing. And like you said, I really hope we get more from
Right.
Beacon more um, after this book
I
is
mean,
done. And Magneto,
yeah, and
honestly.
there's a couple people that like Ryan says he's pretty much given Killers a five. He's enjoyed it. Sean Hayes is basically saying he enjoyed both books this week. I might be the outlier on PSI Lords, but I mean, yeah, Killers, and I guess I could justify a five for the simple reason is I don't think there could be much improvement made. You know what I mean? I don't think it could be done differently. And yeah, so in that realm, like, could something have been done different to make it better? Not really. It was I enjoyed the crap out of it, and I'm making sure I'm getting four, so it did its job. So I'm in for that. So
Yeah,
um,
absolutely,
yeah,
100%, 100%. Like I said, this is a great week. This is an absolutely great week for books. I think that um, even though it's two books, I mean, you go read DC, you have a ridiculous number of choices. Marvel, same thing. But I think that when you're a small publisher like Valiant is, and you're putting out a limited number of books, you have to make them all count. And I think that this is a week where it really feels like what that they're making the
yeah,
books count, and that
yeah.
is awesome.
I actually really like what Sean says just now. He's pretty sure Killers will have some follow up to the books in some fashion. And yeah, like building this, getting these characters out, building it up, you would be silly to not have a quick turnaround like you did with Fallen World soon after, with
Yeah,
whether it's Ninjak or anything in this. I mean, you got Roku coming soon too, and maybe they all fit in the middle somewhere, and we get another ongoing off of a great platform, a great base that those two books have built on, and we run with it. So I mean, I hope I know that Valiant's always listening here. So go with it. Do what Sean said. Keep running with it. So
well, and I think Scott or was it Ryan that pointed out that them having their own names
every one of them.
makes it easier for them to go on into different books. I think that like that's the perfect thing, because if we don't get a
Yeah.
Killer's continuation, we can get a Snapdragon book, we can get a Sights book. Like you said, we're getting
Right.
a Roku book. That's kind of they're really building up. It seems like the Ninjak corner of the universe right now with Killers. I would say Punk Mambo is peripherally related because she interacts with Ninjak quite a bit. They gave her a book. They got the Killers book. We got a Roku book.
I mean,
Yeah,
Livewire,
hopefully
right?
this all
Livewire and him
leads to
used to do the brown chicken, brown cow. So
absolutely, and hopefully that means that this is all going to build up, and we're going to see Ninjak come back in explosive fashion, which I would be really excited for. I love Ninjak as a character, and the two runs that he's had so far with Kint's run, which was I believe 27 issues that were phenomenal, and with only a little bit of a failing in there, and Christos Gage's run on Ninja K, which was what 14
mm-hmm.
issues, that was absolutely phenomenal. So I would love to see more Ninjak, and if this is a way to build up to a new Ninjak book, I think that if there's I don't know that I ever expected to say this, but there is a possibility that it could surpass what's come before, and that is a really high bar.
I'm all in. And homework for everybody who's watching now, and homework for whoever watches later. And we'll talk about this when we get to Killers number 4. If Ninjak had his own key power, what would you want it to be? Like if he were to later learn, meet up with the Jonin, get with some of these other ninjas in the program, and learn his, what would you want it to be? Like what that? I mean, Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of a question. What was his? But since he didn't join in training, yeah. So think about that. I want to hear what people have to say.
Yeah, because I know he can
Right, and
heal.
that's most of them. They learn that within their meditation, right? So yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah,
so looking forward,
looking forward, indeed.
um, Doctor Mirage number two, obviously, which is cool. But that Bloodshot number one, man, I won't be getting that cover, I don't think. But
Well, you can get that one, but not
pretty
the
stoked
carbon
about.
fiber one.
I think
Well,
that
no,
is the
no,
carbon
they'll
fiber one,
have
isn't it?
it printed on regular paper, and they'll have the 1 in 250 or 1 in 500 carbon fiber. So you can still get the John Boy Myers cover, just not the carbon fiber. Which I love that they're doing that.
Um, Sean wants Ninjak to be able to turn back into a high school kid. Uh, Scott called out the Fist and Steel from Kint's Ninjak run, and that was what I was talking about with the faltering there. Just want to clarify that, yeah, that was the low point of Kint's Ninjak run. But other than that, that was an amazing book. But I want to thank Valiant because they sent me this awesome poster, and it made me take down all my Book of Death stuff, which taking down Book of Death stuff isn't a good thing, but I was able to put up a bunch of awesome Bloodshot stuff. And you can't really see it in the small picture there, but I've got the four VEI golds for Bloodshot that have come out so far. And then I also have four awesome sketch covers, including one from Doug Elliott on the bottom there, who is a member
Oh,
of
that's
the
cool.
Valiant Comic group on Facebook. And he did that for me a while ago. It's actually it's an homage to a Greg Capullo Batman cover that both Doug and I really love, and he just substituted Bloodshot in for the other character that was on it with Batman. So it's Batman fighting Bloodshot, which is pretty much the
Nice.
coolest fucking thing
I
ever.
don't know if you could see it
But yeah,
here, but like I say, last weekend I was at Rose City Comic Con, and I picked up two things right here. You could kind of tell what they are. Boom. Those are honestly my first two CGCs. I am extremely pumped up to have those right now. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's
yep.
awesome. Yeah, I've got those two as well. I've got 9.8's Eternal Warrior 4 and Rise Zero. I think anybody that wants those should get
Right.
them now. They're probably going to be a lot more difficult to come by shortly.
Yeah, I got
Um,
lucky. The guy who
but
sold
yeah,
mine
pretty.
didn't know about the movie, and then I went to the very next booth, and to get the exact basic scores, everything, it would have been double the amount. So, yeah,
Jeez.
it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, pretty much all my CGC comics are Bloodshot because I got those two, and then I have two. I got Bloodshot number one in a 9.8, the original 90s version, Bloodshot one, and then I think I have Eternal Warrior 5 in a 9.8 because that was Bloodshot's first cover. And I know that it's not like collectible. Nobody's going to be, screaming and busting down my door to try to get my first Bloodshot cover CGC book, but it's important to me, so I got that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, talking about Bloodshot, yeah, that new series looks like it's going to be amazing, and it's really hard to even like. Doctor Mirage is a good book. It's not like it's bad, but it's really hard for me as a massive Bloodshot fan to really like get hyped up for Doctor Mirage number two, even though, like I said, issue one was awesome. It was really interesting. But that Bloodshot number one, I read the ash can doesn't have colors, so I'm super super stoked to read the issue with
Oh,
colors.
Mel sent
Get
it
a
out to us, so check your email.
oh
Yeah.
shoot.
So the colors look great. Um, I can kind of say, I guess the line I've heard people say, and I can agree with it. If you loved VH1 Bloodshot, you're gonna love the run on this. Having talked to Tim, he's got some action and excitement for us, and he's gonna bring it back to a little bit of what Bloodshot was, but yet still kind of. He said he's still gonna keep that continuity of what Lemire brought to it, but he's gonna kind of pull it back a little bit and get us back to that the action. So not a bad thing.
Yeah, I that to me, I think that was the smart way to go with Bloodshot from what Lemire did. Lemire spent so much time digging into Bloodshot's head, and it was amazing. Those were some really good books. I still consider Bloodshot like the Valiant and Bloodshot Reborn, in my opinion. That is like the golden age of Bloodshot comics to me. That like the original stuff is phenomenal, but as far as the current version of the character, um, that Bloodshot Reborn stuff is the peak. And I don't think that you follow Bloodshot by trying to dig into his head again. I think you follow him by instead of deconstructing him, going back to him put together and what Bloodshot is. And from what I read, the first issue that Ash Can a while back, that was exactly what we're getting. The art looks so good. Brett Booth is amazing. He's perfect for this book, I think. And yeah, I love the approach that Seeley's taking on the writing. So really, really, really stoked to talk about that in
And it's
more
100 times
detail.
better with color on it. 100 times. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm stoked to go read it. I'm going to probably go read it right now. But yeah, this is a really great week. The fact that we're getting books as high quality, and even a curmudgeon like Sean Hayes says that he liked both books.
Oh, wow.
uh,
That's good. Good.
that's a high point. That's a big
Right.
deal.
Yeah, and I might have been taken back by Killers that it made me look back to PSI Lords. So if that was on a different week, it could have been different, I guess. Because they're both, like, because Killers was so good this week. So good.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, and then like I said, I mean, we've got awesome new stuff to look forward to. Not only are we getting an ongoing Bloodshot starting next week with the next issue and the awesome new Dr. Mirage series, but we know we've got EXO coming. We know we've got Rye coming. We've got The Visitor coming, and that looks fucking amazing. We got a Bloodshot movie coming. I really like when I can say this and mean it. This is a really good time to be a Valiant fan.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. It's exciting time. Man, 31 days, 30 days. Come on, October 18th. I just can't wait to see it, man. So, yeah, keep following Dinesh. Get those countdowns and get excited. I'll see you guys.
By every
Zombieland is gonna like do great opening night just because of the trailer.
Yeah, the Valiant fans are going to really boost the numbers on that movie, as long as that actually happens. But yeah, cool. A couple of awesome books, awesome stuff to look forward to. I think I had a really fun time. I really love when we get people that are interacting with us in the live chat.
Absolutely.
Sean hangs out with us all the time. Ryan Pond and Scott Bloom have been hanging out with us a bunch, and that's really awesome. Really enjoy that. And I know that. I don't know if David was able to make it tonight, but he hangs out with us from time to time. And yeah, it's always awesome to have people on here talking with us, enjoying the books, or even if you're not enjoying the books as much as we are, or you're enjoying them more than we are. It's great to have those differing opinions. And some of the stuff that both Scott and Ryan and actually Sean as well brought up tonight really changed my perspective on some things. So again, I had a really fun time. Thanks for joining us for episode number 133. Signing off, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Hoosier, 87 subscribers. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't done it already. Thank you, guys.
And then hit the bell so that you get the notification when we're going live. Because, like I said, we go live on a weekly basis as long as we can. And we're definitely happy to interact with people live. If you listen or watch later, that's awesome as well. Thank you for any support. And, of course, throw that support to Valiant. Stay Valiant.
If you don't want to give us a thumbs up, you can give us the other one.